this is kind of like, it's like a fun question, but why aren't you in 2K?
That's a great question. I'm asked that question a lot. So they pay those guys to do it. And they make $300 million a year. And they pay the guys chump change. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I says, this is what I'll do. Because, like, just giving me some money doesn't help anybody. I said, give the old retired players $1 million and I'll be in the video game. They're like, well, we're going to pay you the same thing we pay others. I says, I'm not like the others. That's these other guys. I don't even know why they taking that money because y'all make $300 million a year. Y'all not helping the old retired players. I'm talking about guys older than me too, just for the record. So they piss me off every year. They call me every year and say, hey, have you changed your mind? I says, why in the world do you think I'm going to change my mind? I told you, give $1 million a year. Y'all can have the tax write-off. It don't even have to come from me. I said, but give the retired players $1 million a year. Like I say, I'm not talking about old retired players like me. See, there's this misconception that everybody's been making $1 gazillion our whole life. There's players older than me who didn't make any money. Those two guys, and they're older, they probably need the money. So that's why I'm not in the video game.
When we were younger, Charles Barkley had a video game. It was called Shut Up and Jam. And it was like the coolest shit ever because it was like this playground game. And what you could do is like you play street ball, essentially. You could foul the hell out of people. And Barkley was cussing in the game. And that started his legacy of speaking out, first of all, along with the I'm not a role model commercial. But it also started his legacy of understanding how this business truly works. I'm going to break down specifically the numbers on why he's not in 2K and why he's advocating for the players so hard. My ducks, my swans, welcome to the pond. My name is Dorian from Group82Music.com, and right here we got the legendary, my favorite power forward of all time, Charles Barkley, talking about why he's not in the NBA 2K. If you don't know what NBA 2K is, I don't really know what to tell you. You obviously aren't into basketball, you aren't into video games, you aren't into sports. NBA 2K is the most popular sports video game out right now. And what happens is there's a company called Take-Two Entertainment. Let's put their stock price up while we're here. Take-Two Entertainment, and they own GTA and a bunch of other stuff. And one of the things that is their most valuable asset is the NBA 2K basketball simulation series. And it's a video game where you can be the Lakers or the Pacers, you can be LeBron, you can be Victor Oladipo, and you can play against each other. They got my career mode. You can get money by putting real money in and buying shit. It's a for real thing if you don't know what it is. And they pay the NBA for the likeness and the licenses of the teams and the players. In 2019, Take-Two Interactive, they paid the NBA $1.1 billion over 7 years for the NBA rights. They paid $1 billion, but that shows you how much they're actually bringing in. In 2020 alone, just the 1 year, in 2020, NBA 2K sold 14 million copies and made $1 billion just in 1 year. So that contract that they negotiated for over 7 years, they made that back just last year alone. Retired players in the NBA do not have a very good pension program. And I know a lot of y'all think that anybody who's ever played in the NBA made a lot of money. That's just not true. Guys like Oscar Robertson and Elgin Baylor, these legendary players who are all-time Hall of Famers and who are in the video game themselves, these guys weren't making any money hardly. Like in the summertime, they had to go get part-time jobs until the NBA season started. It was a totally different league back in the 60s and the 70s. So much so that in 1975, the average NBA salary was $90,000 a year. What's the average NBA salary today? $7.7 million a year. The average pension plan for a player that played in 1975, they get $800 a month, man. $800 a month. For the players that retire today, they're gonna get around $18,000 a month. Now there's different stipulations based on how long you played, et cetera, and ages, but $800 a month, that's minimum wage. And if it wasn't for Oscar Robertson and Elgin Baylor and Pistol Pete Maravich and Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell and all these guys, we wouldn't have LeBron James and Chris Paul and Dwayne Wade and Kevin Durant and Steph Curry and Zion Williamson. And that's why all those guys outside of Zion, because he was still in high school when this was going on, that they advocated so hard to make sure that the retired players got their just due. They have completely revamped the pension program. They have elevated to how much money that they get. They don't get the $800 anymore if you played after a certain point. And then once you become 62 years old, you're eligible for the same pension program that a guy like LeBron James is going to get. And LeBron ain't even thinking about that because he's making so much money from all his other endorsements. All this contributes to Charles Barkley not wanting to license out his likeness to the game because his stipulation is, listen, I don't want the money. I don't even know how much y'all really pay because we try to look it up and it's not out there, but I don't want the money. Give $1 million to the Retired Players Association for the NBA and then I'll use my likeness. They keep saying no. This is an example of somebody who is putting the team before themselves. Y'all can say whatever the hell y'all want about Charles Barkley. He tells people to shut up. He goes off all the time. You think he's an idiot, whatever it is, but he has always been trying to push basketball and push the culture forward. He understands if it wasn't for those older players that I named, he would have had the opportunity to make the money that he made and make the money he makes today on Inside the NBA on TNT. So because of that, he wants to make sure that they're taken care of. And he don't care about that little bit of money for himself. It doesn't mean nothing. Go give the money to the guys that ain't even got no damn health insurance like how Earl Monroe didn't for a long time until LeBron and them spoke up about that. When you start getting involved in business and when you start getting leverage and they want to use your likeness to make billions of dollars like Take-Two Interactive is, you have leverage. I already said that before. I'm going to say it again. You have leverage and you need to use that leverage for good. The whole reason I'm building my social media platform, yeah, I'm getting paid off of it. I'm making more money than I ever had before. That's great. But I'm using this to have a voice, to push our culture forward and to make change. That's what I want to do. That's why I go so hard. That's why I go off in the comments. That's why I go off in the live. That's why my delivery is the way it is. It's not me trying to make nobody feel bad. It's trying to make people wake up and then push our culture forward because I understand how valuable I am. I understand how valuable we are. The NBA would not exist without the players. ESPN would not exist without the athletes. And these entities are bringing in billions. In some cases, when you really start breaking it down, trillions of dollars of content that they're sitting on based on the backs of these dudes' athletic achievements, and y'all don't want to give them enough to retire off of? Come on, man. That's some bullshit. You got to be looking at your business, whatever it is, the exact same way. You're an entrepreneur if you're watching this, or you're thinking about it, or maybe you work for somebody, you want to have a side hustle. What needs to change in your industry, and what are you trying to do about it? If you ain't trying to do nothing about it, you a piece of shit. You selfish. You just want money. You just want clout. You just want fame. You just want blue checks. This shit's not gonna last, man. Your mentality is fucked up. What can change in your industry, and what are you doing about it? Not voting, not supporting some other person. What are you doing about it? This is something so small. NBA 2K is still gonna sell $1 billion, whether Charles Barkley in there or not. But the fact that he stands up and says, y'all not using my likeness till y'all give them the money, if enough players start doing that, that's how things change. And enough people start doing it in a myriad of industries where they start speaking out about things that are wrong, the injustices, that's how things change. Not depending on some goddamn politician who's getting paid by companies like Take-Two Interactive. No shade at them, but that's how it is. All these politicians are funded by corporations. So I ask you to write in the comments, what is a gap? What's a problem in your business, whatever it is? And what are you doing about it trying to change? I really want to know. Hit me up on Instagram, shoot a DM at Dorian Group 82. Make sure you follow on there. Go subscribe on YouTube. Click that bell at Dorian Group 82. I'm out the palm. Y'all stay true.
Killing like I'm Michael Porter. Getting buckets every quarter. Filling pockets every owner. Betty's coming after donors. Killing like I'm Michael Porter.